down Round Bird.
I'd been in Texas for the first year, the first initial invasion, and saw the media coverage of the combat. And I went to Iraq with the impression that we were going to do something positive. You know, I didn't want to be there, but I thought we were at least gonna do something that was worthwhile, that I could feel proud about.
Shit, they might not like us. The hell out of our damn way.
As I stayed there longer and went out day to day on the road and saw how the Iraqi people were being treated and the way we went through their country like we just had decided that we owned it. I mean, our convoys drove through every day, and if cars didn't move, they were pushed out of the way.
I had to get one. I had to get one. That's the way we do it.
I was guilty of it just like everybody else. I pointed my weapon at every person I saw on the sides of the streets and in their cars, and just, you know, they were there minding their business in their own country, trying to survive. And over time, I just realized that what we were doing was wrong, and we were treating these people just absolutely with no respect, and we were in their country, and we were invading. The whole talk of being there as liberators and freeing the people from the rule that they were under was, to me, I didn't see it. The more time we spent there, the more I saw as us just conquering them.
Normally that means get out of our f***ing way. Good little Haji guy.
They didn't have any rights under us. I mean, we just did what we wanted to, and people were hurt because of it. Life obviously was bad under Saddam. You know, he was a dictator, he ruled with an iron fist, and he wasn't a good guy, but as far as civilian casualties and suffering and the lack of basic needs such as clean water and electricity, in the last couple years since we've been there, it's steadily getting worse. I don't know, there was a lot of things that got me to believe that what we were doing was wrong, and one of them was as simple as when we were driving through the towns, we couldn't give away anything, food, water, and when we'd come by, kids and women and children, husbands, they'd come to the road and just beg with hand signals for water or food or anything, and we were instructed from the very first day that we were not allowed to give them anything. I can't fathom that rule. I mean, there was so much going to waste. I mean, I can't count how many times I saw bottled water being poured out, or MREs that people would eat a portion of and throw away. But yet we couldn't give anything away. We didn't leave anything, we didn't give them anything. But yet we expected them to see us as helping them. I think our goal there is to make them a country that thinks like we do and acts like we do, and we're just trying to change a whole hundreds, thousands of years of culture and the way everything's done there. We're trying to make it our own instead of going there and trying to help them out from under this ruler and then letting them control their destiny. We're not leaving, and we're not letting them run anything. We're force feeding them what we want them to believe, and we're dictating their officials and who's in charge and what they believe in, and just running their country like it's an offshoot of us. We fuel the so-called insurgency with our own actions. People are over there, American soldiers, we're running them off the road, killing people, firing off rounds to scare people, and in that sense we're making enemies way faster than we're making friends. And I just see it as an ongoing cycle of nothing's going to get better there, because there's too many people that don't care. The longer you're in and the longer you're there, it just seems to me like the less actual caring there is. From what the people I was with and the people I saw, the lower enlisted people that had only been in 2, 3, 4 years were a lot more open-minded to see and say, hey, this isn't right, we shouldn't be doing this. Whereas the higher people went in rank, it was more of either I'm not going to question it, I'm just doing it because this is my job and I have nothing else to do, or scarily there were people that were wholeheartedly behind everything we did and were promoting the actions. I mean, even my first sergeant, promoting the action, promoting running people off the road, running over cars. I keep coming back to that because we were a truck driving unit. We spent a lot of time on the roads, going in and around we mainly stayed in Baghdad, but I didn't go to Najaf, but my unit, part of it did, and I went to Fallujah once with part of my unit, and when we were on the roads, it was just we're in charge and everybody's gonna get out of our way. There was no caring, and if we did run someone off the road or injure somebody, the only thing we as a convoy, we weren't supposed to stop, we weren't supposed to acknowledge them. There was one designated vehicle in the convoy that was supposed to stop and give them a slip of paper so that they could come get reimbursed for whatever damage we did to their vehicle or to them. And I saw many times people fire their rifle out the window with no care as to where that round was going to go or who it might hit. For something as simple as a car trying to pass in the opposite lane, the cars will go into oncoming traffic to avoid us, but because they were trying to pass, people would fire rounds or do all kinds of means to me it seemed to intimidate. I mean, some people claim that they were doing it for safety, but I didn't see that. I didn't understand that. There was one time when I was instructed to shoot at a car, and doing what I was told at the time out on the road, I went ahead and did try to shoot at the front end of a civilian vehicle, and my weapon jammed, and you know what, the car stopped and they turned around, they went the other way. They had no intentions of doing any harm to me or anyone I was with. I'm sure they were just trying to go home or go to work or something. And I look back on it, I'm really glad that my weapon malfunctioned at the time, which is almost amusing since I'm the armorer and it was my job to keep them functioning at all times. They were supposed to stop is what we thought. Whether they knew that that's what we were telling them, I don't know. When we were out on the roads, and most of the time it was people yelling in English or a simple hand gesture to try and make people stop. I mean, we didn't expect, when they were on post working for us, we didn't expect them to speak English. I don't know why. Out on the roads, we thought that they would, but we did. And there's a lot of times when we did stuff like that where we just owned or thought we owned the road. We were shot at, but some people that just hardened them and made them want to hurt people. And there were people that I was over there with that went out on the road every day with the simple intent to shoot rounds, and they didn't care where they went, and they didn't care who they hurt. There were people that were going through 30-round magazines every day, and I don't know of anybody that I served with that ever recorded a called confirmed kill. I don't know where all that ammunition was going. So that was another thing for me. You never came back and heard, they never came back off the road talking about we were in a firefight here, we were in a firefight there, but yet everybody was expending, using ammo.
One day, and I killed my L-16 at 45 mile an hour.
I mean, how is that noble in any way? How is that helping the people? I have video footage of U.S. soldiers just destroying homes, ripping garage doors down, just ransacking places. How is that helping the people in any way, was what I was thinking. When I saw this stuff, I was like, it impacted me in that we'd been hearing all along that we were doing good and we were helping, and all I saw was pictures of destruction and things being ruined, and that didn't seem to be positive in any way for me. So a lot of things combined. When I came back last fall for my 2 weeks R&R, I spoke with my parent, and it was really, that's when it really started for me, that I really felt like, this is bogus and this is just totally wrong. But at the time I wasn't ready to do anything about it. I didn't know what to do about it. It was a big thing. The year I was there, I was pestered about reenlistment on a daily basis almost. I was actually conned by my first sergeant. He said I needed to come down to take care of something in the arms room. And when I got to the office, I was there for a reenlistment meeting with the division sergeant major. And there was about 12 of us there. So we listened to the sergeant major's spiel, and then he asked us each individually why we didn't want to reenlist, and it was the first time I spoke out and feared getting in trouble immensely, but I stood up and told the sergeant major, I said, "No offense, sergeant major, I don't mean to offend you in any way, but I don't believe in this war." I said, "I'm here because I volunteered, I signed a contract and I'm honoring my word, but to re-enlist would be to say that I was okay with this and that I was willingly volunteering to come back and do it again." And I told him I just wasn't willing to do that. It was interesting, his reaction. At first he just started stuttering and he seemed so mad that he couldn't even respond. But then his only response was, where else in the world had I been, and when I find somewhere better than America to live, that I should move there and come tell him, because I wasn't a true American, and it wasn't right for me to say something like that. A lot of the lower enlisted that hadn't been in so long are really starting to see that it's just the military right now and the government is just incredibly messed up. It's just, I don't know, it's crazy. When I came back to the States and got out of the Army at the end of May, I moved back to Maine. And my father, I believe, was the one who first said, "Hey, this organization's out there, go check them out." And I went to the Iraq Veterans Against the War webpage. I read their statement and their motto and what they believed in, and it was almost to a T what I was feeling and what what mattered to me. They were seeing the same things going on in Iraq. actions committed by U.S. soldiers that wasn't war, that was just degrading and just wrong and, you know, uncivilized. And they were also seeing that it was spiraling out of control by the day, that the longer we're there and the more of an impact we're making on this country is just becoming worse and worse and worse. I became a member of IVAW shortly after I found out about its existence. I felt like it was a place where I could express my feelings to people that knew what I was talking about, that had been there. When we went on the DC rally, that was the first time I actually spoke outside of writing to them. And it was one of the best experiences I've had since I came back from Iraq to go out and really talk with people that had been there, especially people that are seeing what I saw.
And so I was a gunner, and I sat in the little turret and patrolled around the Iraqi cities, causing problems, basically running children over and just it was terrible.
I was an electronics technician on the E-3 AWACS, and my involvement in the Iraq War was the bombing of Iraq, the intensified bombing in the fall of 2002. And when Bush is back here saying he's going to try diplomacy, we're over there bombing the heck out of him. So I saw the lie right from the start.
I do have a couple friends here, one that served with the main, with the 133rd, and one that is a Marine reservist that I work with, that are both really gung-ho about this whole conflict, and to them, they don't see anything wrong with it. And it just became so frustrating to have, you know, I was there with these people, I know these people, and I knew them before I went there, and to see us come home with such radically different opinions of what's going on, it's almost scary, because I don't understand how they can still feel the way they do, how they can still have such positive feelings about the situation, because I didn't see anything positive happening. The only positive things I saw were for the Americans, not for the Iraqi people. I mean, we were rebuilding warehouses, we were having trailers to live in, they built enormous dining facilities on the post I was staying on. They were laying fiber optic cables in the warehouse section. Seemed to me like establishing a long-term facility with no intent of leaving, and but I didn't see that going on outside the gates. I didn't see us building for the Iraqi people. I didn't see us helping them get their feet back on the ground. I mean, half of Baghdad is without power, but in the first 6 months I was there, we had a mini power plant on the post I was on, and we're not using generators at all anymore. Everything was run from a power plant. So, I mean, I don't get what we're doing for them. I saw a lot of improvements for the Americans living there, but not for the Iraqi people. I don't remember once while I was there anyone saying, hey, we can do this to help, or we can do that to you know, help, or take care of this problem, or take care of that problem. I saw people turned away at gates. Iraqi civilians coming because someone was injured or someone was sick, and being turned away because we supposedly didn't have the capabilities to help them. Although I have spoken to people that said, yes, we did. You know, we could have taken care of that person, or we could have done this for him, we could have done that for him. But we didn't. And it was things like that that made me come home feeling like we didn't do anything positive there, and that a year of my life had basically been taken from me for a cause that is just so incredibly wrong, and just almost, as far as I'm considered, disgraceful to the American people. The government and politics and people are always hollering about a noble cause, and we're gonna stick it out till it's over, and we're doing such great things. But I see it as a disgrace to America. I see that the rest of the world is looking at us like we're just insane and that we have no capabilities to see outside of our own little agenda. And it's just, I feel bad for everybody that goes over there as a soldier, because we all did volunteer to join, and that's what really irks me about people that say that you joined, you knew what you were getting into, and you shouldn't be saying anything about it. When I joined the Army was prior to even September 11th happening. I joined in June of 2001. And yes, part of my joining was to serve my country and feel like I'd accomplished something and had been part of an organization that really was a positive influence on the country and the world. And I got out of the Army feeling like the only thing positive I came from my 4 years was the fact that I had friends scattered around the country. I didn't feel like I'd served my country in any noble cause. But now I come home and I get thanked for being there, and I get thanked for serving and for going to Iraq. And I want to ask people if they really know what they're thanking me for. If they really have, I mean, when you say thank you for serving, are you thanking me for going to Iraq or for being in the Army or for what? I mean, what did I do that deserves thanks? I mean, all I did was go there and make it home alive. I think that a lot of people don't know what they're supporting. I think a lot of people are afraid to be patriotic without supporting conflict, without supporting war. I think a lot of people throw the yellow ribbons and the "We support our troops" stickers and magnets on their cars simply because they feel like they're going to be singled out if they don't and be accused of something. I think a lot of people don't really know what that means and don't really know what they're supposedly supporting. I wish people would understand that the troops over there really do need America's support, but they need our support in a way that will bring them home and that will show them that we care about them, rather than a magnet or a sticker that just is there. I don't think a lot of people understand that you can be patriotic and you can love your country and you can love your soldiers and still speak out, or even not speaking out, but just, I don't think people even understand that they can think that the government's wrong. I myself was a soldier and served in the conflict and served in the combat zone. It'd be radical notion to say that, and I've been told that I don't support the soldiers and that I don't support my country and that I'm unpatriotic. I was there, you know. I went. How can you say? I don't understand how people even fathom that. They don't understand what it is they don't understand that I was a soldier and I'm not anymore, but I do support our soldiers 100%. They're there because they're honoring their word and they're honoring their commitment. And I think that's what people need to understand, is that you can support the soldiers without supporting the war and without supporting the government's actions. If I could have my way, I would bring all our U.S. troops, and all coalition troops for that matter, back home. And I know people talk about if we leave it'll become a civil war and it'll just get worse, but I do see us as being not necessarily the only problem, but the root of the problems there is our meddling in their affairs from the beginning on. So I do think for Iraq to have the best chance of rebuilding as a country, we need to leave. As far as support, I think we owe them for all the destruction we've caused, but I don't see us fixing it with a military force. It's just, I think we are the root of the problem, and that other problems are springing up because of us. I just want to make it known that as a soldier that served there, I love America and I love our soldiers, and I was one, and I support them wholeheartedly. It's just, people have to understand that you don't have to support the government at the same time, because what they're doing is totally wrong.